What's up, everybody? You already know it's your girl, the Glow Coach here, back with another episode of the Biz Breakthroughs Podcast. As you know, I tell you every episode who I bring, the heat and the fire, right? So we have another amazing soul that is joining us on today's episode. Her name is Davina. Hopefully I'm saying that right,
You are,
Davina.
you
And
are.
she is a confidence life coach. How cool is that? How cool is it to be able to help people really step into who God has called them to be and do it boldly, do it with everything that God has given them. I just think it's super dope, the work that she is doing on this earth. And I'm very, very excited and grateful to have her here on this episode, really to help you guys step into everything that God has called you to become. I don't know if you guys listened in a couple of weeks back, but I have been on this mission to give you guys strategies. It's Strategy in Sales September. And the very first
Mm,
strategy that I talked about was the strategy of evolution. And so
mm,
I feel like stepping into who you are called to be and doing it with confidence is a part of that process. Healing and, removing all the things that are holding you back and really not allowing you to step into your calling. That is what creating a strategy of evolution entails. And so I am so excited to have Davina here, really just to pour into you and give you guidance and give you everything that you need to really take that next step. So, Davina, honey, okay, confidence life coach, tell us a little bit about who you are and what led you on this amazing journey of doing what you
ooh.
do today.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So, yes, my name is Davina Pacley. I am the founder and CEO of a brand called Divinely Crowned. I created Divinely Crowned back in 2018. So, I'll be celebrating my 5 years in December. And I created this brand to pretty much encourage and inspire women to embrace the queens within themselves and have self love and confidence through faith, lifestyle, and fashion. So, how I came up with this brand is that I really grew up as a very insecure young woman. And really, it was about my appearance at the time. I've always been a girl that's up and down weight or the biggest girl in groups. And so it really caused a lot of low self esteem for me. Just not knowing my worth, not knowing my value. And it wasn't until I had my daughter, who's now she'll be 11 in October, that I was like, you know what? This little girl is going to look up to me. I'm going to be her first role model. And if I'm not confident in myself, if I'm talking down to myself, all these things, then she's going to be like that. So, or that's going to rub off on her. And I don't want her to have to look elsewhere outside of me, which I know she will. For different things, but I want her to be me to be the first role model. So I was on my own self-love journey, really learning and embracing. It started as just being like learning how to dress better for myself, for my body, wear what I wanted. And just by doing that and inspiring other women, I realized how many women of all ages lack confidence. I would have so many people like, man, Davina, I wish I had confidence like you. And I'm like, I wish I had confidence like me. Like I'm still learning, but just through that and also knowing I always wanted to be, I always say I want to be like Oprah. So I always wanted to be an inspiration to people, and a light to people. So through all these things that I was growing in myself, I was like, yeah, I gotta do something to create, like, listen, we're queens, like, and this is how I've learned to be more confident. So I became a confidence life coach about 2 years ago. I was literally pushed into this. I happened to be on a podcast and I was kind of telling all my dreams for the future. And I'm like, yeah, one day I want to be a life coach. And the lady's like, do you know you're already one? I was like, okay, well, you heard it here first. Service is coming soon. Joking. Next day, God was like, haha, I'm going to make you one better. I'm sending somebody to you already. The lady's like,
Wow.
I already know, like, I know that, you're not really starting, but I want to take a chance on you. And ever since, I just been pushing, that I wasn't sure if I wanted to just be a life coach or if I specifically wanted to be a confidence life coach. And I think just as I've been praying and as I've been still growing in this business and this brand, I'm like, no, confidence. My niche is confidence and helping women to really grow. And even men, I've realized how many men have reached out like, Davina, you inspire me. So that
Mhm.
is that is the short version.
I think that's super dope. It's funny. Our
Thank you.
backgrounds are a little similar, especially me
Mhm.
being plus size. And then
Yes.
I call myself modeling for like a summer. Let me just put that
Oh.
out there, like a summer. But that was actually one of the things that gave me so much confidence. Like I never was the girl that, first of all, I was like the smartest one in my class, but don't
Mhm.
ask me to get up in front of the classroom and say anything because I just was like so petrified.
Yeah.
So to like step out on stage and own,
Mhm.
how I look and all of that stuff, like that
Yeah.
was huge for me during that short
Yeah.
period of time. So I love that that's a part of like your background and everything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then too, being a plus size girl and like you said, quote
Mhm.
unquote, like the biggest one and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. Like I was just telling my kids, like I have memories, traumatizing memories of going to
Oof.
amusement parks with the school as a group and not being able to fit on a ride. And granted,
Mhm.
I'm not like morbidly
Yeah.
obese.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a regular chunky kid, but
Mhm.
these thighs, honey, these thighs won't lift some of them bars on the rides. These styles ain't working with it still to this
Yeah.
day. But it
Yeah.
like puts something in your mind that really
Mhm.
just strips away that confidence from you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dealt with a lot of verbal and physical abuse from my stepmom and being
Mhm.
called names and everything. And like that ate me up for years.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's phenomenal that you've been able to step into an energy and find that. I'm sure you've had support, people that you watch or things that you listen to. And of
Mhm.
course you've done the work, but to be in a position to even help women with that is huge because I just totally understand the struggle.
Yes.
So
Yes. It's
I love
yeah.
everything about it.
Listen, even how you said, like, growing like, high school like, school I had my own friends, like, it's so funny because I look back at some people that, like, would pick on me were my friends, like,
Mm,
Shamu, Big Bird, we used to have to wear these yellow school shirts, and they'd be like, "Davina,
mhm.
you look like Big Bird," and I look back at pictures like, "I wish I had that body still, okay, I wasn't
Right.
even there," but, like, just having those like, yeah, I know, like, that
Mhm.
trauma of those things that just are ingrained in you is like, "Ooh, we gotta bust it out."
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You got to do the work. And I think
Yeah.
so many people just bury those feelings and they cover it up. And like,
Mhm.
I recently had a young lady that is now my stylist, right? Her name is Amethyst. Shout out to Amethyst, honey, if you're listening and if you need styling services, call Amethyst. She's phenomenal. She would
Aw.
probably kill me if she saw me in like my basic t-shirt right now. But one of the things that she loves to do is to help women feel more confident. And even now, still in this day and age, as an adult that has done the work, like even with some of the clothes and stuff that she's like, you put your, vision board together and send me some of this stuff. Like I have to challenge myself not to cover up because we'll
Mm.
do that. We'll bury it emotionally. We won't talk about it. We'll cover our bodies with clothes and all these
Mhm.
different things. And so recently I took my husband out on a date night and the outfit she suggested, she said she knows I'm still a little bit working on my confidence. So she
Yeah.
was like, you can wear like a long jacket or something. I didn't have a jacket that matched. So it forced me to go out and kind of wear like this tight fitted skirt and like top. And so, but it challenged me to like really step into loving my body. I've also
Mhm.
recently had weight loss surgery. I'm almost a
Okay.
year in now.
Good
And so
for
I've
you.
lost a lot of weight, but still, I'm still looking at myself like, I just don't know. I don't know if I like it. So it's all of these things that come up. But I think the biggest thing for me is just making it a priority to do the work. And when I
Yeah.
find myself talking to myself really badly, I'm like, okay, Steph, you're tripping. We're gonna have to find the good things. Doesn't mean we don't work on the things that we don't like, but we're gonna have to find the good things
Mhm.
about ourselves and really
Yeah.
just grab onto that and hold on to it. But I want to know for you, because I know this has been a transition. How did you like find more confidence in yourself? Because that is like probably the biggest question for everybody up here.
Oh, yeah.
How in the world do we find more confidence? So what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, so the journey for me personally was a lot of spending time with myself. So I would say in full transparency, um, within the last maybe 3, almost 4 years is when I really started doing the work. And I was actually getting out of a, very unhealthy relationship, after 13 years. And so I
Mm,
had no choice but to do the work on myself because my identity for a long time was in that relationship and who I thought I was supposed to be. So it really took me sitting with myself a lot, even to this day, like sitting with myself. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Who am I in God? And figuring that out for myself. So a lot, like, I know it's
mm,
cliche to say, but a lot of self-care is how
mhm,
one I started to find my love for myself. And that's something down to like literally just like washing your face and like doing facial like routines and sitting with yourself. Okay.
Yes.
I know that just sounds like, oh, okay. No, sitting with yourself, picking apart certain situations that might be a trigger for you and really analyzing like,
Mhm.
okay, where could I personally have done better, and how could I have um like spoke up for myself or things like that. So one, it was really has been self-care, positive self-talk. Like, I know like we hear these things, but you really need to do them. Self-care
Yes.
and positive self-talk, really, because there's power in our words. And I say that all the time. And what we think about ourselves and what we say about ourselves can literally manifest itself into us. So doing those things, creating relationships with people that are good for me. I
Mhm.
have an awesome support system, but also creating friendships with people that are able to pour into me when I'm not able to pour into myself. Like, I'm so big on finding your tribe. And I don't mean you don't have to have a huge community, but relationships with people that are in the same space as you, or maybe even above you, that are or like, on a higher level when it comes to just maybe how they think about themselves or feel about themselves, or the relationships they may have, and just really connecting with like-minded people. I did
Yes.
a lot of going on like Pinterest, and I know
Mhm.
social media can be like very intimidating and can cause you to kind of have lower confidence, but it's about who you follow. It's about what you
Mhm.
research. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube just looking at like how to build my confidence. I this one video I still don't remember to this day, but I just remember on my journey of like building my confidence, I was like, I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. I'm just gonna start wearing what I want, fake it till I make it. I may feel ugly, but I'm gonna just fake it. And this one lady, she's like, "Yeah, people say they fake it till they make it, but really, it's you want to act the way you are feeling until you feel the way you are acting." And I'm like, and that just really shifted for me, and that's what I started to do, like, really act like I am a beautiful woman, I am a confident woman, and I am a queen. And the more I
Right.
started to, like, really embrace that, the more other people embraced it, the more I
Mhm.
realized, like, people be calling me queen more than my name sometimes. I'm like, "Okay." Like, but it's like, wow, you have to be willing to see who you wanna be and embrace who you wanna be, and to build your confidence.
Yes, I love all of that. I know that you mentioned like it is cliche. People are like, do the affirmations, do
Mhm,
all the things, do the journaling, do the
mhm.
self-care. But my question is, okay, it may be considered cliche, but like, are you doing it?
Right.
Because so many people are like, oh, that's cliche. I'm not gonna, and they dismiss something so simple. And that really is the beginning part. Like, I'll never forget the first time I looked in the mirror and actually told myself that
Ooh,
I loved myself.
yeah, yeah,
Never had I
yeah,
ever said that to myself. Here I am in my 20s at that
yeah,
time,
yeah.
my late 20s.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm just like, but like, are you doing it?
mhm,
Because if people would just embark on that journey and if they understand, like, you're not going to feel it at first, it is
mhm.
going to be this fake it till you make it energy,
Yeah,
but eventually you are, and this is scientifically proven. I'm a
yeah,
science nerd. You are going to
yeah,
literally reprogram your brain
yeah,
to think
yeah,
differently about yourself.
yeah,
And all those little ways that you treat yourself, like you said, the self care and really just pouring into yourself, surrounding yourself with positive people, all those things, it's an energy attached to that. And the
it
more and
is.
more that you can put out that energy of, I'm going to treat myself well. I may be
Mhm.
on this journey of healing, but damn it, today I love myself. Today
Yes,
I'm going to feel cute. Tomorrow, maybe not so much,
maybe
but
not
today,
so.
today I'm going to feel cute and I'm going to feel like that chick. The
Yes,
more and more that you
yes.
can do that, you automatically are putting out an energy. You have no choice but to begin to attract
Yeah,
that back to you, or what I should say, have it reflected back to you in the universe that God created. So I just think
yes,
that's so phenomenal. Like,
yeah.
people don't dismiss the small beginnings. Like,
Don't,
do the
please don't.
affirmations. Do
Yes,
the
and
affirmations.
I will say that is something. So with I'm a confidence coach. So with my clients, like, I hold you accountable to that. Cause like you said, people say, oh, it's whatever, but people aren't doing it and then they're not seeing the results. So I
Right.
literally, well, okay, you pick an affirmation or you write this. This is your homework and you're gonna do it. And like so many, I just finished a client after 6 months and she's just on she's a whole different person. It's just like, no, she did the work. She took those small little things. Like you said, looking in the mirror, I didn't even realize how much a lot of people don't look at them. So like, yeah, you can check your
Yes.
outfit, but actually look. I had a friend one time
Mm-hmm.
ask me the same question. I was like, I look in the mirror, and they were like, do you know how big of a deal that is? Like, do you know how many people don't look in the mirror at themselves? And I'm like, and just talk to themselves. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, I didn't think of that. And I cry in the mirror. I cuss out people in the mirror. I I am dance in the mirror. Like the mirror is where
Yes.
you really see yourself and really
Mm-hmm.
take that time to really show your own self-love. It's your own reflection.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's tough. It's tough to look
it
at
is.
yourself. I mean,
It is.
sometimes I could not even be going through anything and I'll look at myself and stare. If I stare 5 seconds too long, honey, I instantly start crying. It's like all this guck and all this stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
me? But it's
Yep.
really tough to look at yourself and
Mhm.
really, it's like you have no choice but to see the broken parts of you
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
then put yourself in a position to actually work on
Ooh.
fixing that.
Don't
And
make
so
me
many
cry.
people avoid that. They avoid
Yes.
that because it stings and it hurts. And now I got to get real with myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
if you want to be more confident, you have to deal with where it's coming
Gotta d
from.
yeah.
And even though affirmation, all of this seems like, oh, whatever, don't dismiss it because it leads to the deeper healing. This is just the beginning. We can't take you to the root. We can't snap. You know how hard it is to pull a root up if you
Oh,
haven't like dug some dirt out from around it first. We got to
yes.
start digging some of the
You
dirt
gotta
out. And
dig, you
that's
gotta
what the
dig.
affirmations are for.
Listen, the affirmations are that shovel to get up in there, okay?
Right,
Like, yes.
exactly. Before
No,
we
I
can get to the root, we can't just yank. It's going to be
absolutely.
too hard. So we
Yeah,
start with the affirmations. We do the journaling. We start a
yeah,
self care routine, and now we start to understand some of the trauma and some of the other things that's associated with it to be able to really clean that up and plant new seeds.
yeah,
So
yeah.
don't dismiss the work, honey. Don't get
Mm-mm.
with Davina and be like, "Girl, I ain't doing it." Do them daggone affirmations,
Yes,
okay? Do the affirmations, or else she gonna whip you.
right? And I
I
will
love
say
all of
on
that.
top of that, you said we get to the root, like, I am very pro therapy, okay? Like,
Yes,
and I've been in therapy on and off for about 6 years, and that's another thing for me, like, I encourage therapy because in
yes.
order to come see me sometimes, a life coach, you gotta, like you said, deal with those roots. So,
Mhm.
sometimes when you're looking in the mirror and you realize, "Wow, like, what the heck?" I say therapy is like sometimes where I will tell some clients like you got to go there before you come see me because
Yeah.
I'm not able to deal with that part yet. But
Mhm.
yeah, so that's
Mhm.
another thing I will definitely say as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think therapy could just be so wonderful. And I think God
Mhm.
has just anointed and blessed so many people in different spaces to be
Oh yeah.
able to support us.
Mhm.
So I say feel where you're called to go
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
get the support that you really need. But I
Agreed.
would like to hear a little bit of advice for you. I know my advice for everybody to build confidence would definitely be do the work and do the
Do the work.
affirmations.
Yes.
But what are like one or two like steps that you can give us, tips that you can give us to help us really begin to build more confidence?
Mhm. Oh, okay. Um First of all, setting aside time for yourself, like legit,
Mm,
even if, and I say this all the time too, even if it's a few minutes per day, not per week, to just really, like I said, going back to sitting with yourself, taking that time, putting a little well, I'm a big worship music person, like really sitting with yourself, like really taking care of your heart, your mind.
mhm.
So I really always say like sitting with yourself and taking care of yourself. Like I said, um, you know, 5 minutes a day, sit,
Mhm.
journal, read a book that like is about like loving yourself. Not, I know there's a lot of
Yes.
self-development books, but like a loving yourself. Um I'm growing in my word, so it's like who am I in God? Like so
Mhm.
really finding a hobby, something small. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Something small that makes you feel good every day. Every day.
Mhm.
No matter even if you're having a bad day, you're like, "You know what? Let me go put on my that favorite song that kind of gets me feeling good about myself or something small each day to really pour into yourself." And another thing I will say is like I said, that community, building a community. There's so like there's so many different ways you can create communities, connect with communities, because you do need people to do life with. God
Mhm.
called us to be in relationship with one another, and even if it's one person, pray. I always tell people because I always see people on my social media like, "Oh, I wish I had friends," and I'm like, "Listen, pray about it. Tell God,
Mhm.
hey, I want." I need friends. I need like-minded people. I need
Right.
people that are stronger than me to help me, because if it wasn't for my support system along this journey, like, I might not be as confident as I am, because on those days, I even just made a post the other day. I said, I thank God for the people that stand in the gap for me, and the ones that,
Mhm.
I forget exactly what I said, but it was like, the ones that pour into me when I can't pour into myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You need that, like, you need that. So I hope that
Mhm.
answers, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. That time is important. I think,
Yeah.
you can't even get into a position of doing the affirmation journal if you're not
Mm-mm.
willing to just take 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
it really does start there. And it could just be so much easier than people make it. Like, make it the
Mhm.
first thing you do literally when you
In
wake
the
up
morning.
and train yourself, set those habits and everything up
Mhm.
for yourself. And you begin, it
Mhm.
gets easier and easier over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So I
Lunch breaks,
definitely
like,
love
put
that.
on instead of scrolling on social media, do something for yourself.
Yeah,
Walk,
listen to a
uh,
self-love
yeah,
podcast. Don't you have a
self-love. Yeah,
podcast?
okay.
Shameless plug. I'm
Okay.
plugging it for her. She got a podcast, y'all. Listen to
Yes.
that on your lunch break.
Yes.
What's the name of your podcast? You have to tell us now.
Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast.
Okay.
So we
We
talk.
definitely gonna make sure that's linked.
Yes. Yep. So it's all about the journey of where we come from, where we're at, and where we're going, building our queendoms, which is our life, and becoming the queens we are destined to be.
Yeah, so I love that. I think it's just so important, y'all. So just
Yeah.
take 5 minutes. But I know that you mentioned a little bit about just like finding your identity in God.
Mhm.
And my question would be, do you feel that your inner confidence can sometimes be a direct reflection of your confidence in God? And what I mean by that is, and this is Biz and Breakthrough. So in the
Mhm.
context of business, I know for me, like sometimes not having faith in my ability, what people call imposter syndrome and all of these feelings,
Mhm.
right? Not having confidence in my ability to coach or to, oh, can I really help this person? Or is,
Mhm.
my product gonna sell? Is it good enough? All of those things, I realize they stem from like, oh, I'm not trusting God enough, not just to like do the thing or to bring the people, but like I'm not trusting who He created me to be. And I had to take time to like find my identity in Him. Who is it
Mm.
that God says that I am in
Mm.
within His word, but also within the dialogue that I have with Him. Because
Yeah.
every way that He shows me my identity is not always like I can read directly in the scripture, like Stephanie, you're this thing. Like it's that shows me so much. But to
Mhm.
really go deeper, I have to be in conversation with God so He can
Mm.
really speak to me through the Spirit and reveal to me where my confidence is lacking
Mhm.
in the context of showing up in my business. So I
Mhm.
feel like personally, but I do want to hear your thoughts on it, like my own inner confidence was a direct reflection of how I feel about God and how He looks at me. And I really had to get real with myself and be like, wait a minute, Steph, because if He says all these things in the word, honey, you got to be more amazing than you giving yourself credit for.
Ooh.
So what are your thoughts on that?
This is I yeah. So I'm going to tell you full transparency, I'm in this right now of learning this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that I am called to do everything I'm doing. I was a little girl doing some of the things I'm doing now, but I have struggled in my relationship really knowing who how his even just his grace for me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I pray, Lord, help people to see your light through me, but sometimes I don't even see his light through me, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm learning every day to grow in my identity with him, but I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
more I'm actually being more intimate, because that's what I've been praying a lot lately, is just, Lord, help me to have a intimate relationship with you. We want these intimate relationships with a significant other. I'm single right now, so like that's my, oh Lord, I desire a man. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Lord, help me to desire you and the love you want me to have from you, and so that
Right.
I can see myself more and more. So it's been a learning process, because I think
Mm-hmm.
for a long time I was leaning on my own strength in building this business, this brand, this life coach, and now I realize, wait, if I'm called to do this, help me to I need to know what my identity is in God first and foremost, so that He can give me the strength to continue to do this, because helping people with their confidence is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? Especially
Right.
when you're still learning how to be a confident version of yourself. But like
Mm-hmm.
there's this post that always pops up and I share it all the time. And it's about your calling will crush you. And there's this line, it's like, if you're called to help people with their self-esteem, you will go through a lot of insecurities. And
Right.
that's when you need to lean on the Lord. So it's just like, Lord, help me to just continue like talking to him like he is your friend. Like, help me to see
Mm-hmm.
myself saying, I am a daughter of the King. Okay.
Right.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made, like really speaking, going back to affirmation, speaking those things over my life so that I
Mm-hmm.
literally begin to consume that stuff into my life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I know for me, even with business, like you said, you're helping people with confidence, but you're still going through a process of it for
Mhm.
yourself. I think for me, I'm constantly evolving as a
Yeah.
business owner, as an
Oh, yeah.
entrepreneur. And so sometimes I'm like, oh man, I need to do this differently. Oh my God, I learned this new strategy, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But I have to realize that there's so many layers to
Mhm.
where I've come from, and that there's so many people that still need to go through those layers.
Mhm.
So I feel like as long as we continue to do the work, we're always going to be in a position to continue to pull people
Yeah.
up. One of my favorite songs that I listen to when I'm feeling kind of crappy and like need to remind myself is Royalty by Tasha Cobbs.
Girl,
Like I just think
yes,
that just soothes
I've been
me,
playing that so
honey.
much lately. That
Yeah,
is
that
the
was like one
song.
of the biggest things that helped me with my insecurities about showing up. Like
Yes.
seriously, I was like, oh, I forgot for a
She
second. Let me remind
listen,
myself, Tasha, where you at, girl?
she
You
made that
know,
song for us, okay? She
she
that
really
song
did.
is man,
It's
yeah.
so
I
good.
literally
It's
been
so
playing that
good.
a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think another thing that I did for myself too, and it's actually had went to a coaching program, and the coach had me go through this. So now this is something that I do when I'm helping people kind of answer the call, quote unquote, and really remember like they are supposed to be doing this thing. But I had to take myself like back in my past history. So I know God is doing something in me, and I'm anointed and I'm gifted. I have to be able to recognize those things. And so
Mhm.
I will take myself down my like history of like all the things that I've done since, working my first job. What is everything that I've done that points to me doing what I'm doing today? And like I had to
Yes.
realize, like, Steph, you've been helping people without even realizing you've been helping people for so long, for so many years. And like she had us even do it to where like we can calculate, like if we're business coaches and we want to say we can help people make X amount of money. Where have you done that before? Even if you're a
Wow.
brand new coach. And I'm like, I've managed whole salons and helped triple
Mm,
their revenue. Like I've done the most. I've give people a word that maybe be sitting in my chair when I was still doing hair, and like
mm.
they go out and start businesses and make money.
Come
So
on.
clearly I
Yes.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I had to like not only get it spiritually, but I had to really check myself and be like, Steph, you've been doing this. Go back in
Yes.
your history and see where God has led you up to this thing.
Yes.
So
Oh, that
that
is
was a
so
big
good.
thing. That was a
That is
big thing
so
for me.
true. Yep.
Yeah.
I truly, it's so funny because that's like when I said the like going all the way back to I was a little girl, like although I was insecure about my appearance and my identity, I was very outgoing. So I was
Mhm.
class president of my 8th and 12th grade year. Like
Wow.
I was running Bible studies. My dad, like he had a program, he would bring the Bible study to my school. Like I used to fill buses for youth group. Like, so I'm like, these things, I've always been a leader or bringing people to become better versions of themselves
Mhm.
since I was little, like,
Yes.
really winning that vacation Bible school, bringing people together and them telling me like, "Davina's the reason I go to," like, so these things have
Yeah.
always been in me, and it's like, we don't sometimes, like you said, we don't look back and say, oh, wow, this has
Yeah.
been in me." It's just God keeps just pulling it out more and more. It's exciting to me.
I think the journey is definitely exciting for sure. And
Yes.
just as I uncover new parts of myself, and I'm like, wow. And then, too, I think it's definitely reflected. I'm definitely going to ask you for my next question, which will
Mhm.
lead me into that. But I definitely feel like it's reflected. How we feel about ourselves and the confidence that we have is reflected through our business.
Mhm.
Everything is energy. People can feel when you don't feel good about
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
and how you show up, which is
Mhm.
why it's so important, like you said, to do the work. Do the
Mhm.
work so you can show
Mhm.
up fully as God has called you to show up. Because when you go out and do these businesses and all of these things, and like, yeah, you put it out there, but then nobody buys your stuff, and then you feel bad about it. Then you throw the whole business in the trash, really
Yeah.
not realizing that if you would have just did the inner work to feel more confident, then people would be more attracted to what it is that you have.
Yeah.
But people can feel when you don't believe in your own stuff,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about how you show your confidence through your business and through your brand.
I will say I am well, going back to the modeling thing you were talking about, so that was a big thing for me. I actually just created a new modeling page because I that was a big way that I kind of started building my confidence and showing people how to be more confident is by I love fashion. I grew up, my mom, she's been in retail our whole lives, and I would always like my sisters are smaller than me, so just seeing them and being like, dang, I wish I could wear that. So for me, building my confidence came from a lot of fashion and modeling, and then inspiring other people like, listen, if I can do it, you can do it. So
Right.
really just being boldly me. And a lot of times, as much as I'm trying to inspire other people to be confident, I'm trying to really inspire myself. I tell people all the time, like,
Mm.
listen, I may turn on this camera and be talking to you think I'm talking to y'all. I really be talking to myself.
Right.
Okay? So really just being transparent and open. And not in a way
Hmm.
that's like you're telling all your business, but to say I'm human. I don't always feel
Yeah.
great, but today I'm going to tell myself I feel great and really showing people that listen, if I can do it, you can do it. And just being my real
Hmm.
self. Like people know you'll see me dancing on this social media, you'll see me dancing in the street. Like I just am learning to embrace who I am, and I
Hmm.
believe that as I'm doing that more and more, people are being inspired to do it for themselves
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I love all of that. I definitely am a work in progress for sure.
Mhm.
So I
Listen,
think
we
for the
all
biggest thing for me is like showing up more,
showing up.
showing up more
Mhm.
and really standing in my authority. That was like a big
Yes.
thing. I had a whole season of, oh,
Come
I got to
on,
stand in my
sis.
authority. I got to own my gifts.
Yes.
But like not being afraid, like trusting my own thoughts and trusting what
Yep.
God puts on my heart and spirit to
Yeah.
say,
Yes.
trusting how He designed me to show up, like even down to the little things like my messaging or
Mhm.
any of the captions that I write, like
Mhm.
trusting all of that and being
Yeah.
confident in my own gifts and my ability to help
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
That's definitely one way that I show, and I've seen my brand transition over time. Like I tell anyone, if you're like in this season of your branding feels off or like something just
Mm.
is off, like check with yourself,
Yeah.
because as I evolve, my branding and everything evolves with it, and I can see
Mhm.
like the new energy. But I'm like, ooh, that's me. Ooh, she fierce. She really doing a
Yes.
thing. I can
I
definitely
totally
feel that
agree.
energy for sure. So I
Yes.
just think that's super, super dope. I hope
Yes.
everybody got something really good from this because,
Me
not
too.
standing strong in your confidence, it can really, really, really hold you back in so many different ways. So
Mhm.
I pray that everybody just takes something from this and like
Mhm.
begins to do the work. I know
Do the
that you
work.
are phenomenal. I know you have something called a self-love digital bundle. You have like
Yes.
ways to support everybody. So definitely tell us a little bit about that for sure.
Yes. So the self-love digital bundle is I say it's a power pack digital bundle with you get a 5 royal keys because everything in Divinely Crowned is real royal.
I
Okay.
love
So
that.
you get an ebook filled with just how to build your confidence. You get a self-development journal, as well as if you don't know about affirmations, because I done talked about it, you're gonna get an affirmations checklist with a bunch of affirmations that you can highlight what ones stand out to you, write them out yourself, stick them on your wall. So that is something I definitely have been pushing. I need to push even more. Okay. But yes, that is definitely I'm trying to get the queens right, get their crowns right. So that is
Yes.
definitely a great resource if you are not sure where to even start in your journey of building your confidence and your self-love. I got you covered. Okay.
Yes, I love it. I'm here for it, honey. Like I said,
Thank
I know the
you.
struggle all too real.
Yes.
So y'all make sure y'all go get what y'all need.
Yes.
Okay, from Miss Davina.
Come
Get your
see your
self-love
girl.
digital bundle.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Get support. That's a big thing that I think people sometimes they just try to do it all on their own. And I don't know if it's because we're conditioned, especially as Black
Mhm,
women, because we're just so
mhm.
strong and so independent and we've been doing it alone for so long that we
Yes.
don't even realize like we're self-sabotaging our growth
Mhm,
because we don't
mhm.
want to reach out for support.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
nothing to be ashamed of if you're still on a we're all on a
absolutely.
journey. First of
We're
all, let me
all
say that. We're
listen,
all on a
I'm even
journey.
on a journey, okay? I'm
We're
still
all
on
trying to
this
figure this
journey.
thing out, but there
We
are people
are.
that have figured out a little bit more than you.
Yes.
So go get
Actually,
support from those people. So I
yep.
think it's phenomenal what you created. I look forward to hopefully you come back on another episode.
Oh,
Come join us.
yes.
Come give us the tea on what's going
Oh,
on with
you gotta
you,
come on mine
all the
now.
stuff.
You gotta come on mine. Okay, be
Yes,
on the
and everybody
lookout 'cause
know
we
I
gotta
always
switch
say
it
I
on.
like to run my mouth, so
Yes,
feel free
come
to invite me.
on.
I like to talk. This has been amazing. I thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank
you.
you for your time. I thank you for your
Yes,
presence on this earth. I thank you
thank
for
you.
your yes, for just telling
Thank
God that
you.
you're going to do this thing. And I pray that you continue. I pray that He just gives you revelation about how amazing
Mm,
you are and instruction and a blueprint for the next season and chapter of your business. We are very thankful to have you here on another episode. And we
thank
love, love,
you.
love you guys. And we will
Yes.
definitely see y'all on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.